And all of it was a joy. All of it was fun for us to do. I think I can speak on behalf of the Warchant crew that look, these are long days, but they're good days when you win games, and they're fun to go on that ride with everybody. And goodness, if I had told you through the first 3 games that Florida State played, you'd have a win by a point on a blocked extra point in New Orleans, and you'd have a comeback victory with your backup quarterback and several other important members of your team on the shelf on the road at Louisville, you would say, sign me up, because it is a roller coaster, and it is why we wait all season for football to start, all year, I should say, for football season to start. And also it would mean that we were undefeated, assuming a win over Duquesne, which of course did happen. And so Florida State now finds themselves in a position, which is what we were talking about. Let's pick up the conversation where we left off on Friday. It was basically, listen, you need to go win this game. You have to go win this game to once again show proof of concept, to once again have that fan base continue to buy in because of what it sets up at Doak Campbell Stadium and what we've been waiting to see here for a long time. Meaningful games with something to win or lose, packed houses, nationally televised, influx of money and energy into the community, momentum in recruiting, all of it. It's all real if you can get off to a good start. It's all possible if you can get off to a good start. Well, there it is. Mission accomplished. They're off to a great start, 3-0. Now, as is always the case, wins and losses happen for a reason. They elicit a certain emotion, but they also take a toll. They take a toll. And you go through a football season holding your breath. Every fan base does. It's the thing about this silly game that we're so passionate about, and that is that it's brutal. And injury luck is oftentimes completely arbitrary, and you never really know, are you going to be on the right side of this thing or the wrong side of this thing? And right now you think, what in the world? Every time I look up, there's another Florida State player down, and you want to lash out. You want to say, well, what are we doing from a strength and conditioning standpoint, a diet standpoint, you name it. But you know what? That ain't it, guys. If you go back and watch those injuries, all of them are unlucky. Basically, if you want to summarize why Florida State's hurt all the time, it's because they get rolled up on all the time. All the time. Every player standing around getting rolled up on every effing play. It drives me nuts. And I want to blame Louisville's sorry-ass field. I want to blame all of that, but it's not that. Florida State's unlucky. Right now, they're unlucky. But they're deeper than they've been in years, and they've been able to withstand it. It has revealed character. It has revealed a toughness that you and I absolutely adore and find passionately able to support. Like, this fan base right now loves this team. Go look around. Go check your social media sites. Go look on the message boards. Go wherever you go, right? I would prefer you go to warchant.com. And the point would be, everywhere you go, you see a comment from a Florida State fan about why they are so happy for these guys, this player, this team, this coach, this town, this fan base, right? Because they've given you every reason to root for them. They've bought in, they've worked hard, they've taken their lumps, they play hard no matter the situation. And Friday night is a great example of a team win, of a program win, of a character win, right? Of a buy-in. That's what you see from teams that love one another. They keep fighting because the guy next to him, you don't want to let that guy down. You got to do your job. You got to do your job. And next man up mentality that coaches preach all the time. A lot of times I roll my eyes. If you lose your best player and you hear a coach say, next man up, well, I get it. He has to. What else is he going to say? Our season's over. Sorry, guys. Throw in the towel. Of course, that's not what he's going to say. He's going to say next man up. But you, as a rational, pragmatic individual, can say, yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. We're screwed. We're screwed. And then redemption. Tate Rodemaker becomes the Rodemaker before our eyes. He does the things that we've seen him do collectively in the media. Every outlet I'm aware of has had somebody mention that, Tate plays really well in practice. And he does. We've seen it time and again. But admittedly, when the lights turned on and there was a game situation at hand, Tate Rodemaker showed you none of it. Nary a second of it. Not one redeeming play from Tate Rodemaker prior to Friday night. Not one. And then it happened. And at first you thought, same old, same old. Look at this guy out here, scared to death again, throwing ludicrous picks. I don't even know where he's looking. Where are you looking? Sir? That's not even a play. Anyhow, that happens. We're watching and why? And I can picture it. I know the storylines. We all do. Why didn't he go out in the offseason and get him a backup quarterback? See, this is what happens. Jordan's always hurt. Could have known he was going to get hurt because that's who he is. Hurt. Steady staying hurt. Why didn't we go get somebody? Because, and he would tell you this, he really believed Tate Rodemaker was good enough. And if you watch practice, you'd say, well, I do too. If that guy plays in a game, if the practice version of this kid plays in a game and does this, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. But it seemed as though he was never going to be that guy. And the time to move along, the time to wash your hands of your backup quarterback and maybe do something crazy like having to start a freshman who's not ready was a better option. Maybe. Seemed like perhaps it would be. And then it happened. Halftime occurred. I felt like a fighter losing a fight, losing a round in a fight, more importantly. Losing a round in a fight. And you're up against it. You've been popped. You've been severely stung. Your eyes are watery. If you've ever been punched in the nose, you know what I'm talking about. It ain't fun. It's also the quickest way to win a fight is to be the one that delivers that shot. Bridge of the nose, eyes water, up against it, hands up, right? That's what you're doing. Survive. Get me to the locker room, please. In this case, in the football thing, get me to the corner at the end of a round. I got to get my breath. I got to gather myself. I got to get my wherewithal. Well, it wasn't just a halftime. It was a season on the line, in my opinion. For the good things to happen, you had to find a way to have a chance to win this game. And whatever they said to Tate, and however it was delivered, it was received and executed because he was great in the second half. And he made big play after big play. And Johnny Wilson on the other end of those big plays may very well end up becoming a star because guess what he did do that he doesn't always do? He caught the damn ball. He caught the ball time and again. He played big boy football, making big boy catches, big plays after the catch, all of it. But those were dimes, and those were moments that now give you hope that maybe Jordan Travis doesn't play this weekend. We don't know for sure. I'll get to all that momentarily. But you're no longer sitting back thinking, well, if he doesn't play, we can't win. That kind of was the sense prior to the second half against Louisville. If Jordan doesn't play, even a bad BC team could beat us because we've watched Tate. I'm just kind of regurgitating the consensus, right? But instead, everybody apologized Friday night and Saturday morning to Tate Rodemaker. He was on the right end of the social media barrage, right? Everybody, sorry, brother, I doubted you. You don't have to apologize, guys. He gave you a million reasons to doubt him. He did. It wasn't unreasonable to doubt Tate Rodemaker, the game, the gamer, the quarterback in the game, not the practice player, because that guy's really good. But the game Tate Rodemaker hasn't been until that second half. And I've talked about this. I did talk about it on Friday too. And all jokes aside, all hyperbole aside here, I'm really happy for that kid. He's done everything right. He's done everything right. You know, when you recruit a kid and you give him a scholarship, you ask that he goes to class. You ask that he work his ass off when he's on the practice field. You ask that he eats right, he lifts, he learns the playbook, shows up every day for his teammates. Efforts to earn every bit of it, right? And that if given a chance, you want him to succeed. Obviously, you want him to be able to execute. But all that stuff leading up to that moment, if the kid does everything that you ask of him, you really can never resent it. You might lament that he's not the player you wished he would be. You might lament that, man, maybe we didn't evaluate this guy right, but he's a good kid. He's doing everything right. It's easy to root for kids like that, and he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys. And so to see him find that success in a critical moment that allows the momentum for Florida State to continue on into this weekend and really could propel Florida State to good things in the ACC this year, You're elated for him, and I am. I am genuinely happy for him, and I'm happy for Mike Norvell because he's preached it and he continued to believe in him. Now, the next question becomes: the injuries. They're starting to add up, guys. It's starting to get to be a little ridiculous. And at some point, all that fight, all that heart, all that want to and what for is not enough if you don't have enough dudes. So I'll get to that. We'll see. Florida State is still in a good place, especially given that it's BC this week, and that helps. They're not very good. They can't block. But then secondarily, the reason I'm happy for Mike is he believes in these kids in a way, and Ira wrote about it in his 321 on warchant.com, and I thought he did a good job pointing that out. It's true, man. He believes in his kids. I'll tell you a story. When you talk to coaches, and I've had the good fortune going all the way back to Bobby Bowden, but then subsequently Jimbo, obviously, when he was OC, on and into when he became the head coach, even Willie. And then, obviously I've had plenty of conversations with Mike to get to kind of know these guys on and off the record, right? And everybody's got a different personality, just like everybody you work with has a different personality. And some guys are attributes you love and aspects you don't. That's the norm for all of us. But I don't know that I've ever been around a coach that is as invested, almost personally, as Mike Norvell is in his players. He loves those guys. Like, if you just bring a player up, any player, he'll find the good quality in him. Now, he doesn't ignore that there are attributes of that player that aren't winning, aren't plus on game days. Like, there'll be guys that have to get a lot better, and he'll tell you that.
And he'll rip their ass in practice.
Correct. He's not a softie. But he will always defend and root for and invest in a player, right? Especially any player that he thinks is doing all of the right things and everything that they do in preparation for that moment, right? So to see that pay off in the case of Tate Rodemaker is really good because he has always believed in him. And, you could see that look. I remember when the spring game occurred and Tate, it was the spring game. Obviously, I was down there on the headset and I'm watching Tate. He won't fire. He could not trigger. And guys are running free. And that's the famous picture of Mike looking like he wants to rip his head off. And because he's so mad. And I'm listening to Mike and I'm listening to Dillingham on the headset. And they're going back and forth. And Dilly is like really frustrated because he's called this play. He's got a post open down the middle of the field and Tate doesn't throw it. And I can say this now. He's not here. Dillingham slammed the headset. He got up and slammed the headset. Now, of course, nobody can see that. He's in the box, but he slams the headset. I hear it. And it's accompanied by a few choice words of frustration. Nothing wrong with that. That's coaching, whatever. But Mike, in that same moment, simultaneously, turns to him and says, "What is it? You've got to throw the ball, son. You got to throw the ball." And he's trying to ascertain, what is it you're not seeing? Help me help you. He's not screaming. He's asking, like, what was it you didn't see there? He's just he's frustrated, but he's trying to stay calm. It's awesome. It's awesome. And you could tell that Tate was frustrated with himself. He goes broken over to the sideline, sits at the end of the bench, and they hand him a headset and says, "Dillingham wants to talk to you." Now, you got to imagine. He knows how that conversation's about to go. And it's an incredibly one-sided conversation. I'm on the headset for it. I'm listening to it. I don't know if they knew that. I don't know if I was supposed to, but I hear that whole conversation. And Tate takes it all in. "Yes, sir." Puts it down. And he's crushed. He's crushed. And I remember wondering then, will he ever overcome this? Will he get past this moment? When will the moment happen? Well, you got to watch it. You got to watch it on Friday. Now, there are a lot of stars. There are a lot of people to praise today, and there's a 2-hour show to do it, and we've got all week. But I wanted to start with that by doffing the cap and saying, congratulations, young man.
Well, there are two things that Mike talked about today in his press conference. The first one was the energy of the locker room at halftime, and he was borderline emotional about that. There are different points in today's press conference that I thought were notable. That was one where he said at halftime, I think that's when he knew the culture was there, the ability to fight through the adversity. It sounds like he thought, this is me reading between the lines, maybe Mike thought he needed to go in there and rah it, and he realized, I don't have to. They're still in it. They're with me.
Oh, yeah. They hadn't checked out.
Which means that's a reflection upon all of the work that Mike has done, so that must feel amazing.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is when he hits Johnny on the deep post, that's when Mike said at the press conference today, that's the sigh moment. So I guess for even the head coach, who is rooting so hard for this young man, he sees the play, he knows it's there, he knows that Tate has to take a hit.
And he takes that hit.
Yes, he does, and he chooses to. He makes a choice, and that's one thing that Mike said in practice that we were at last week. Make the choice. Make the choice. Well, Tate made the choice there, and that's when Mike internally goes, "Okay, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right here."
It's exciting, man, and it's exciting to watch. I don't know if a younger version of me could have appreciated this as much as I am. I'm sure I couldn't, right? I mean, time is allowed for that. Also, all the losses has made me appreciate the great moments a little bit more. But yeah, maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I would have just thought it was sappy, but I don't now, man. I see the redemption there, and it makes me happy for him and Mike. Now, listen, we could still, there are things they got to do better. There's a lot to clean up from this game, ton to clean up from this game.
But you've got to score 3 touchdowns with a lot of your twos out there on Louisville in order to win the football game, and you got 30 minutes to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they do. And they do.
And they do. Yeah.
That's the amazing thing here is it's not all the twos, but a lot of the twos are out there in the second half of this football game, and you're spotting them 7 to start the half. And to me, the drive of the game was the first one in the third quarter.
The first one in the third quarter.
It's 5.5 minutes. It's 6.5 minutes. And it gets you some because there's balance to it.
And they get him some easy looks, some easy throws early.
Yep.
It's smart the way they handle it. You hit that slant. Okay, you got to be able to hit this.
Right.
Now,
and it's an RPO, though, so you've got considerations.
So you have considerations, right. And you put a little on him. Now, remember, he couldn't execute it against Duquesne.
Right.
He couldn't execute that play against Duquesne.
Yeah.
So, you'd like to believe of the simplest of throws he's going to be able to make, it's that throw, right? But you're not sure the first time he has to make it that he's going to execute it, and he does.
No, I mean, I'm sure our eyes in the watch along are very saucered.
It turned on the lights, man. Right. He went from the darkness to the light. You saw all of a sudden, I can do this.
I also thought the 3rd and 22 incompletion to Johnny was good for him as well. The one on the side, because that's a dart. It's not in play, but when you're looking for little morsels, little crumbs,
he let it go.
He did.
Yeah. So you and I are all big on that, and we've always been big on that. We did it in the national championship game when Jameis finally let one go and it didn't convert. Remember, that's the throw that they missed, or
it's a 3rd down to his left.
Yeah. Yes. And he lets it go. And we're like, there it is.
Right.
Thank you. Let it go. Let's play ball.
Decisiveness.
Yes.
That's why I was fired up about Jordan's game against Duquesne.
Yeah.
Even though it's Duquesne, I'm thinking, oh, look at that. Because he's been more decisive in practice, but he hasn't done that between the hash marks in the game, and he did it against Duquesne. I thought that's a good sign. And that was 3rd and 22 for Tate. And then the other hidden play, and Norvell brought this up today, was the scramble on 3rd and 11.
Oh, yeah.
That's huge.
That's when we made the joke, and I made the joke on the air. He's a better athlete than you think.
Mike said that today in the presser, or when he had an interview just before the presser, and it made me laugh.
Well, the best is announcers can't help themselves, and that's why I make fun of it, and we make fun of these ridiculous stereotypes all the time about everybody. It's like it's as soon as he ran, I was like, oh well, this is a great opportunity to point out he's a better athlete.
Well, and the funny thing is, I mean, we know that. We already have known that even before we get into practice, but when they go from a water break to individual throwing periods, it is from one corner of the 2 practice fields to the other. So it's from the ramp near Hauser all the way towards the overpass on Stadium Drive. And he will sprint from corner to corner.
Yeah.
It's impressive. He can go.
Yeah, no, he's not slow. Nobody runs as well as Jordan Travis. So by way of comparison, it's not going to be as good. But yeah, he's a good athlete. Tate's a good athlete. And that's why it's also important that if he's playing with confidence, he can call his own number sometimes, or have the confidence to decide, okay, I gotta tuck it. I gotta go here. I gotta make a play. He's gonna be able to do that.
Look, he bails us out, I think, of a interesting sequence of play calling and 1st and goal of the 1. After Benson makes the run, you get the face mask.
Yeah, it's not interesting. It's terrible. It's a terrible sequence of play calling down at the 1. Are you talking about the jet sweep to Micah?
Yeah.
Or we're trying to trick people. It's soft as hell.
That's 2nd down. 1st down was the Wyatt Rector.
Yeah.
Without the push.
Yeah, all that's stupid.
Right.
All that's stupid.
And then on 3rd down, I'll tell you too, because if it is an RPO, and I think it might have been, that's blown up. It's destroyed.
It is definitely destroyed.
So the only thing that can happen is that throw to the back pylon.
It's also a dime.
Yes, it is.
It's a dime.
Yes,
it's a tough throw. And so there it is. And screw Louisville.
I was waiting for that one.
And screw that team. They are so eminently unlikable. There are so many things to dislike about Louisville, man. It's just frustrating playing them. It's like years ago, I used to feel that way when we played at Wake all the time. And it wasn't, I like Jim Grobe, and that team played over their heads and they handed us some embarrassing moments. But we would always suffer crazy, catastrophic season-ending injuries when we would play Wake. I was like, what is it about this team, that field, this environment, this little stupid track around their field, all that stuff that drove me nuts. And I got to where I ended up projecting that onto them, their fans, their players. It wasn't even their fault. I hated them. I feel that way about Louisville. A lot of it is their fault. But I feel that way about Louisville, right? I'm tired of this with Louisville.
The other group I'm really happy for now is just our fan base, the people that are watching this right now. But, I mean, you think about the way they showed out for Duquesne at our events that we had around town here Friday night and on Saturday. And it felt like, and the numbers on the shows that we did that weekend looked like a rivalry game. So these little anecdotes of people that care enough to show up for Duquesne tells me your dad came down. He wasn't supposed to. He decided to.
Yeah. They're pumped.
They believed. And, I like to see faith rewarded because we've been through a lot. And this fan base has been very grown up this offseason, I thought. They're asking for 8 wins. That's all they're asking for. Show me improvement. They're not asking to win the ACC and go to the playoff. They're being reasonable. So you want to see people being rewarded for being reasonable, and that's what's happening right now. So that sets the stage for this Saturday, an 8 p.m. kick against Boston College, a very winnable game, first home game in a month, for an awesome atmosphere, an atmosphere that's not befitting of Boston College coming down.
No, but it'll be
because they don't travel. But man, I think we are.
Well, and if Boston College did travel, they wouldn't travel to this one. Not this year.
Right.
Not this year. We got a lot to catch everybody up on. There's only so much we can say about the injuries. We don't have anything definitive, guys. There's nothing I'm going to be able to say to you today that this is the injury. This is how long he's out, or he's out, or he's out, because Lord knows we've had too many of them already. One thing really stood out to me is we are merely average without Fabian Lovett on the field. As a defense, you got to get him back. He's got to be back for any meaningful game because we got gashed. And there are times where you can just tell that play gets blown up if Fabian Lovett's in there. But the consistency isn't there without him. He is a vital piece to the puzzle on defense. A lot of other things to get into with all of this as well. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Over 50 years ago, when Paul Nicholson founded Paul's Termite and Pest Control, he had one goal in mind: provide the best service possible to his neighbors so they felt like family. Your problem was his problem, so today it's our problem. Paul's service area is our home. It's where our kids go to school, where we shop, and where we get involved with community organizations. So if some out-of-town company knocks on your door and begins pressuring you to sign an agreement for termite or pest control, you can bet on a few things. Number one, you'll never see that person again. Number two, your technician is likely to change often. And number three, your money will not stay in North Florida. These companies are sending your money to home offices in Atlanta, Orlando, Salt Lake City, or even Great Britain. Paul's Termite and Pest Control knows local means something to you. The health of your Tallahassee home, family, and pets is our number one priority. For the elimination of termites and pests and a greener lawn too, call your local company with local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control.
If you're a business owner of any kind, you need advanced fire protection services. We are AFPS, and we provide high-quality life safety services throughout Northwest Florida, and we've been doing it since 1989, with offices now in Tallahassee. Fire sprinklers, fire alarms, fire extinguishers, hood suppression systems, and emergency exit lights. For all of your life safety equipment, we've got you covered 24/7. We are Advanced Fire Protection Services. For a free life safety system evaluation, visit WeSaveLives.com. That's WeSaveLives.com.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless with zero gravity. All of your worries and stress melt away. Your mind stops racing and you fall into a profound state of pure relaxation. This is available to you right now at Tallulah Delta 8 Plus Floating in Railroad Square for just $50. These state-of-the-art floating pods are unlike anything else you've ever experienced. And while you're there, you can shop for some of the latest and greatest CBD and Delta 8 products on the market. Natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep are all at your fingertips at Tallulah. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you, and thank me later.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 Berry Bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186. Whitten Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Whitten's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whitten Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Whitten Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at whittenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
And you heard at the beginning of the show, just before we started, before we came on the air here, there's a contest. They're shaking the money tree and all that good stuff. It'll happen again at 3:00 on when the show concludes. So if you didn't win this last time at 1, you got an opportunity to win again at 3:00.
That's funny imaging.
That is. I like that. Makes me laugh. I before I forget, really impressed right now with Renardo Green.
Yeah.
He's a good football player, guys. Very good football player. I have to say, if we were going to assess what we're perhaps most surprised by, pleasantly so, wouldn't you say Renardo Green would be a pretty good answer there?
Yeah.
Because I don't know that in the spring we even thought he was going to be on the team in the fall, and then now he's not only the starter, but he's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Tate, we already talked about. That would be surprising. I think we would put that in the surprising category.
Performance in the second half.
But, yeah, but you're right. Consistency from Renardo. He has been our most consistent corner, inside or out. And that includes Duke Cooper, who was available for like 2 snaps in this game, which is alarming because we didn't see that coming. There are things we see coming with our access to practice. Duke Cooper not playing was not one of them.
Yeah, they don't have a lockdown corner. Florida State doesn't currently, not starting. We'll see if Azari Thomas becomes one of those guys, or Sam McCall, or whomever.
Whatever physical issue Omarion has tightens up and gets better, and therefore he can become that guy.
They don't have a superstar at corner, so I don't want you guys hearing me praise him and somehow conflate that with me saying he's an elite player. He's not an elite player, but he's your best corner right now, and he's also a really good tackler. You don't see moments where guys are just running past him down the sideline. No. You don't see that.
Not if it's not a blown assignment or a miscommunication.
Correct.
Which is where that pass interference comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's interesting about that play is you have a safety come up, is Akeem Dent and Renardo on the quarterback rollout. And they're putting you in conflict there. That's the scheme.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them has to follow the receiver. It looks like it might be Renardo. Maybe not. So that's why he takes the PI. And so if you're only looking quickly and, you're getting refills in the fridge when you're watching the game, you might say, well, that play is the worst one of the night from Renardo, and he didn't make many others. No, he made a ton of plays.
Yeah, no, he
did.
He did.
A ton of plays.
Yes, he did. And when you go back and watch it again, you really realize, like, oh, man, he's everywhere. Now, again, they don't have a lockdown corner. That's not going to be the strength of the team. But I do think that he's been your most consistent player out on the edge. And then, I want to say, I don't know what to do in the situation of Fitzgerald. Obviously, he stinks. And there's no getting around that. I mean, you're missing 30-yard field goals point blank, and nobody believed he was going to make it. I question why Mike played for the field goal there. I think it's a mistake. My opinion is that was soft. I would not have done that. I would have let my quarterback, whom you trusted to make big throws in key moments in this second half, I would have let him try to win the game. Now, I'll grant you, I'd have rolled him out and given him a one read and go type thing, but he's going to have an option there. I'm not playing for the field goal there because I don't believe that my kicker is going to make said field goal. In fact, I think he has zero chance to make that field goal. And when he comes onto the field, he looked like, I'm not saying he was, but he looked like he was about to cry. And I have been that guy standing on a tee box with a driver in my hand. I've been the guy who knows there is zero chance that this ball is going to go straight, that this is going to get yanked or sliced off the planet when I swing it. That's how little confidence I have right now on this tee box. And it's the worst feeling. And if you were to snap a picture of me in that moment, I'd look like Fitzgerald did when he came jogging out there to try that 34-yard field goal. Zero chance to hit the fairway. Zero chance to come close to those uprights. You can just see it. We've all been there when I use the golf analogy. It's just like, it's the worst feeling in the world, especially if you're playing with a buddy and you're like, it matters. You're trying to, like, you're a team. Like, sorry, pal. Yeah, I can't find it right now. I can't find it. It's the worst.
The only analogies other than that are maybe a pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, you just can't find the plate.
They're looking in the dugout and they look in the dugout again.
Help.
Right. And
it's help.
And the manager's saying, it's you, buddy. This is why you're here.
Oh, and I hate it. I hate it for him. Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to go all in on this kid. It's obvious he can't hit the broadside of a barn right now. And that's what it is.
You're not going to get an argument from me. You can go check the tape of the Warchant watch along. I was probably a little more emotional then, but
yeah, but I mean,
I stand by how I felt. I stand by how I felt on Saturday. It's crazy. It made no sense at any point. You could argue that we were succeeding running traditional base runs to get to that point because you have a long run, 1st and 20, Trayshawn erases all of that down the right side, and so you don't need to get fancy. But you do need to call plays as though you've got 4 downs.
Like you're trying to win the game.
4 downs to move the sticks.
Agreed. No, we agreed. He's got to do better in late game situations, in my opinion. Mike does. But I'm going to tell you now, playing for that field goal, you were like, what? You almost guaranteed that Louisville was going to have a chance to win the game. We've said it.
Yes.
As it pertains to that kid, you are much better off at this point of letting the walk-on kick because you can't be worse off.
Well,
you can't be worse off.
Mike doubled down today.
Well,
he said Ryan is our kicker. He was asked, do you open it up? Do you open up practice for the reps? He said, Ryan is our kicker. So that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, a coach. I don't want a coach to come out and say, guys, I'm with you. Ryan Fitzgerald sucks.
He could say it's an open competition this week, and that would be fair, but he decided not to.
You can just have it be an open competition without saying it to the press. You don't have to say it to the press. Fine. I'm sure it is an open competition. What are you, steady want to put yourself in a position to lose games? So how many more times does he say Ryan is our kicker? How many more misses? 2, 3, 4? How many more misses do you get before we finally decide, yeah, no, you're not my kicker. Sorry. You'll get another chance down the line, I'm sure. I'm not telling you to leave. I'm just telling you I'm going to go with this other guy. And by the way, there's got to be a girl over there on the soccer team that you could bring in and let her kick. There's got to be somebody. I mean, we got a bunch of All-Americans over there. Let her come in and kick. Maybe she'll get the job. I don't know. But it ain't him right now. He's awful. And he looks like a guy who has zero chance to make a kick.
Yeah, it's the confidence issue. That's something that we can see during the week as well. I won't go into too much detail about it. But with the knowledge of what we saw during the week, combined with the miss in the first quarter, that's got to be enough. At that point, that has to be enough information to tell you at 1st and 10, when you're either a touchdown or a couple of first downs away from icing this thing, that we can't leave it up to him, especially when you're already up 4. if you were up 2 or 1 and it pushes it to a place where Louisville has to score a touchdown,
correct, then you understand.
Then there's a benefit to it.
Yeah,
then
there's no benefit. All right. Well, we brought it up in the chat.
Yes, if you're up 7 or 8, 6 or 7 to push it to a 2-score game, there's a benefit to it. But when you stretch it from 4 to 7, there's not enough there. There's not enough value in rolling him out there.
Agreed.
So beyond the fact that he's not making the kicks.
Well, he's got
zero
chance to make the
kick.
kick.
So you can approach this conclusion from a lot of different places.
A lot of angles.
And it all comes down to first downs here. First downs and touchdowns.
Florida State not ranked in the top 25. I can live with that. They will if they win this weekend. And I don't, clamor to be ranked more than I do want to see us just win games, because it will take care of itself if you win football games. But I did see where Kansas is ranked, buddy. How about that? Kansas is in your top 25.
What, they are?
They're 3-0 with 2 big wins on the road.
And we're not?
I mean, Kansas got a better resume. That's a good resume.
All right.
We'll talk about it. Hey, listen, I can live with us not being ranked. I think that, frankly, there's a good article today. I don't know if it was in The Athletic or if I read it at ESPN. I don't remember where. I read a lot of things in the morning. But the guy doing the ranking said, listen, I'm going to show you my top 25. I have a vote. And he's like, here's my top 25. If I'm being truthful with you, between 20 and 37, they're all the same teams.
That's fair.
That's fair. And he even said that. He goes, so get mad if you want. He goes, if you want to take 33 and put them at 24 because it makes you feel better, you can do that. He goes, I think that 20 to 37, they're the same teams.
The argument I'd make for Florida State is apparently, we are deep enough to win a game on the road without 3 of our top 4 players or 4 of our top 5 players and down 7 at the break. I mean, now there's an argument to make for a top 25 team. Apparently, we're that deep.
The counter, of course, is that Louisville is 0-2 in the ACC, 1-2 overall. They look terrible against UCF. They got blown out by Syracuse. Who'd you beat? That's what they're going to say. The counter to
LSU's win on Saturday was
that helped us a lot. That helped us a lot. And I think in the eyes of many that if they keep winning, then obviously, but this all takes care of itself. Just keep winning.
I know. I just want it for them. I don't even want it for me. I want it for the kids.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, I look at, as I often do, I take a hodgepodge of places and look 8 or 9 different power rankings that I look at and come up with my own proprietary power ranking based on the 9 that I'm stealing from. And I'd have Florida State at 24 in my power rankings, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Wait a minute. Have you actually done your own power rankings?
I take the 9 and then I average out. Yes.
So you have a list right now?
I have a list. Yeah.
We got to start releasing that, man. That's content gold.
Well, but it's stolen. I'm stealing from other people's power rankings.
That's called a disclaimer.
Hey, by the way, before we go to break, this guy right here, 8-2 Redemption Thursday this past week. And if we're being really honest, it should have been better. It should have been better. I got screwed a little bit here. The sorry-ass Raiders are up 20-0. They were my NFL pick. It's 20-0 in the NFL against that sorry lot at Arizona, and they choke it away and lose in overtime. There are the picks. There you go. Go ahead. Go through them. Only Saturday loss, SMU. That's the only one. And
I would imagine, because I was actually not watching the 4 o'clock window, and when I came down after Sunday Smash, I said, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. The Raiders lost? They got to be talking about how Devontae Adams only had 2 catches yesterday. Was he hurt? How the hell does he only have 2 catches for 12 yards? What the hell is that?
All I know is that if you are betting on NFL football, go ahead, just grab your ankles, because I had Cleveland and I bet them down to even. They just have to win the game. Okay, teased it down to even. They're up 13 with 90 seconds to play to the sorry-ass Jets. The Jets.
Flactorious.
They're up 13 with 90 seconds to play. The Jets don't even have a timeout. Cleveland should fold up shop. They stop playing football. That's humiliating. Hey, what are you doing?
The age-old debate is back. Flacco's better than Matt Ryan again. What do you know? Didn't think I'd see that coming.
That is something. That is something to watch.
He was better than Matt Ryan 10 years ago. Not many since then, but he's better than Matt Ryan again.
But think about it. And if you're, listen, I apologize, Jacksonville. I thought the Colts would hammer you. I'm dead wrong. I mean, you guys just absolutely, if you're a Colts fan, sorry, your season is in trouble. You've looked horrible through 2 weeks.
They're in trouble, Mike.
They're in trouble. They're not any good. That is something to behold. Matt Ryan has fallen off a cliff.
They should have gotten Flacco.
I mean, did anybody give Steve Grogan a call? He's still alive? Sweet Jesus. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
2 people are in custody after Tallahassee police conduct 2 home searches on Thursday. After receiving anonymous tips about illegal drug activity, officers were able to gain search warrants for a home on the 2600 block of Vista Rise. During the search, detectives found a trafficking amount of cocaine, alprazolam, Adderall, fentanyl, Loratabs, MDMA, approximately 1.5 pounds of cannabis, more than 100 commercially labeled high THC vape cartridges, and cannabis concentrates. According to TBD, detectives also found 2 guns and more than $22,000 in cash. Another home search in the 1100 block of Ocala Road led to the discovery of more than 100 grams of cannabis. Detectives took 2 people into custody. The Leon County Sheriff's Office has secured a new collective bargaining agreement with its deputies. The agreement is 3 years in length and goes into effect October 1st. A competitive salary plan with a new minimum salary of $50,000 for all sworn members of the agency was established. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly clear this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 89. Northeasterly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 70 tonight. Clear skies and quiet. Sunny skies and calm tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 92. Low 90s Wednesday. Warmer on Thursday with highs in the mid 90s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 87.
Clean, renewable energy means fresher air, healthier residents, new green jobs, and a stronger, more resilient community. How we get there is up to you. Share your input today to help shape the Tallahassee of tomorrow. Take the Clean Energy Survey at talgov.com.
Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 1 p.m. Don't miss your chance to shake the 93.3 Money Tree and see what falls out. Planted by the law offices of Basic Brooks. Come back stronger with Basic Brooks.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
We need to have history. We need to have literature. It deserves an explanation. We don't need to be promoting lifestyles that come into play for your average elementary school.
Well, I had an experience with this. When my daughter was in school, her teacher gave her a book to read, but then she asked me what the C word is.
That was in the book.
That was in the book.
Okay, so about the C word. So you're talking about conservatives, right?
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
And hey, good on you, Jags fans. By the way, that's the first. They look like they've got a pulse in Jacksonville now. All of a sudden, your boy doesn't look like a bust because he's looked steady like a bust. And I've rooted for that because screw him.
They've done well too to get the uniforms right the last handful of years, from the 2-tone helmet to where they are now. It's a simplistic look. Good job, Jacksonville.
Also, I'm glad we won. Bottom of the reason list. I'm glad we won because I like the white helmets. I don't want any more.
Yeah, none of that nonsense.
No more besmirching the white helmets. They're beautiful.
How often would you roll them out?
Not often.
Okay. Over under 1.5 games a season.
Under.
Okay. I thought you were going to say I want them out there 4 or 5 times a year.
No, once a year.
Okay, once a year.
Once a year. Once every other year if you want to make it special.
You just got to announce it every Monday. You got to wait till the Monday before the game. I'm feeling icy this week.
You know who's not real good?
Louisville?
No, Florida.
Mm.
The officials helped them out immensely in that game late. I don't know if you can say that, but also South Florida's terrible, and they probably should have won the game.
Probably so.
Probably should have won the game. That's if you're a Florida fan, just objectively speaking, you have to be slightly concerned because if you watched BYU against South Florida, that was not a contest. That BYU team, now I know the transitive property doesn't work in college football, but that BYU team got waxed by Oregon over the weekend.
Nice bounce back for old Dilly.
Yeah, very nice bounce back for Oregon. This is the fun of, Saturdays, Sundays, I should say. We reassess in college football. Typically, we take inventory. And a lot of times, the way we think of a team shifts dramatically, especially the first 4 weeks of the season. One thing that hasn't shifted dramatically is the thought that freaking Georgia has taken over and sits atop the mantle above Alabama as the best program in college football. I mean, that is silliness. The level of athleticism on both sides of the ball reminds me of Alabama from some years ago, where you're just like, well, this is silly. I mean, they got guys for days.
And did you stay up all the way through Miami A&M on Saturday?
I did.
You did? Okay. Did you see any similarities between old Mac Brown last year against Florida State and the way Mario handled the end of that game?
No, but here's what – well, okay, so a couple things.
Pace was interesting.
Cristobal's in-game coaching is but. His in-game – he chooses to kick field goals a lot.
Yes, he does.
He's a fan of the field goal. My man will kick a field goal, I'll tell you that much. If you didn't know anything about Mario Cristobal, you now know my man loves him a field goal. Like, come on, man. How many chances do you think you're going to get coming down here in the red zone? We're just going to be out here steady kicking field goals? And he did this at Oregon. He can recruit, and that's the problem because he can get really good players in. But that end game is a problem for them. I mean, I would be mortified if I was a Miami fan watching the timidity with which my man approaches calling plays. There's a whole lot of...
In a way, it's perfect. If they had weight classes in terms of your aggressiveness as a coach, Jimbo and Mario should always coach against each other. Always.
It would be the ugliest of games at all times.
Every game is the race to 17.
You'd be like, here we go. Here's another field goal attempt. Hey, we reached 40 plays this week, guys. We're going to have to hope for a special teams gaffe so that we get some red zone opportunities this week. Jimbo's offense, it's just hard to watch.
I would think those are two quarterbacks walking off the field going, well, I feel like maybe I can get more out of what I am.
So Van Dyke, obviously Miami was without their best receiver. Xavier Restrepo was out. But Van Dyke was 21 of 41 for 217 yards. You throw it 41 times for just over 200 yards? Come on, man.
Just hope they don't suffer an awful loss to a team they shouldn't, and they figure it out by the time November rolls around. That's always in there because Van Dyke is dangerous.
He's a good player, but they don't have good receivers.
Yeah.
Those receivers will all take turns dropping passes. If you watch, I watched a lot of Miami against Southern Miss, and they look terrible. They look terrible in that game. I know the final score would mislead you, but if you go watch play for play, they didn't look good. I'm happy to see it. Good. I hope they suck. I mean, that'd be great, but they don't look like a team that I would fear the way that I thought I would before the season started. Because I assumed Van Dyke. Now, clearly they missed Lashley, but I assumed.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, they missed Lashley.
That was not broken.
No, Lashley had it going. But I would have assumed, and I didn't think about the transition, just like one step to the next step that we would see that. He looks worse. And he does. And again, in fairness, but if you go back, I had to do this because I did a show on Sunday, College Football Wrap. We're going to be doing it every Sunday at 11 a.m. on the YouTube station if you want to watch it. But I had to interview Gary Furman from Kane Sport along with a couple other people. And I went back and watched that game closely. I want to be prepared.
Was Gary the guy from 2010?
Yeah, Gary's the ass from, back then, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I had him on yesterday. And so, anyhow, I went back.
That name was familiar.
Yeah. No, I talked with him, and I talked with Robin Washut from the Huskers. Oh, that's tough, man. Husker Online, those poor bastards. I talked to Thomas Frank Carr as well. He does a great job with Penn State. Thank you, R. Wilmer. I appreciate you watching. And it'll be every Sunday at 11 a.m. So it'll only get better. That's the first they've asked me to do it. It was last second, but we're going to start doing more of it. And we'll go peel around the country.
Right.
And I'll interview lots of people.
And it's attributed on Warchant TV, but it's on a lot of different channels throughout the network. So that's why if you're like, why is this on Warchant TV? And we're not even hearing a lot about the Noles because it's on 3, a lot of different places.
No, it's a fun show to do, and I look forward to keep doing it. So that it'll be fun. But I was talking about Gary Furman in Miami. Look, they've got a lot of things they can be happy about. Their defensive line's very, very good. The offensive line protected Van Dyke. And I went back and looked at the PFF numbers he had all day. So that's even scarier. And it's good for us,
right? Because
Noles, because he had time and he still couldn't find anybody.
He's in a transition too.
Yeah,
he doesn't know what he's looking at yet.
Hour number 2. I've talked my head off here. We skipped a break somewhere in there, didn't we? I screwed up.
No, we're fine.
Okay, we're good. I thought I screwed up.
We on time.
I thought I took us off track. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Greg Tish, here's something you might know about me. I don't drink coffee. I have never had a cup of coffee in my life. Well, that is until now. So why change now? Well, it's because my dear friend at Grassroots Coffee reached out to me after hearing me say that and insisted that I give his product a try. I've been making a huge mistake. The world of coffee is fascinating. I always thought coffee is coffee, you know? No, it's not. I have tried their coffee and it is fantastic. Now, I've got a fascination with learning more about the best coffee in our area. Grassroots Coffee is locally roasted, locally owned, and locally loved. You can find whole bean Grassroots Coffee on the local aisle at Publix, also in Whole Foods, but the best way to get this black gold is to order it online. They literally grind the fresh roasted beans to your preferred level, bag it, write the date on it by hand so you know the exact day your coffee was roasted. It doesn't get any more fresh than that. Order yours now. Just go to grassrootscoffee.com and choose the coffee you want and how you want it, and join me. Let's step up our coffee game together and also support a great local business.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. I can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas.
Does Margarita know?
Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jason Walker. The world today bidding goodbye to Queen Elizabeth. Duke of Windsor, the Right Reverend David Connor, says Queen Elizabeth II set an example that all people should follow.
We pray that God will give us grace to honor her memory by following her example, and that with our sister Elizabeth at the last, we shall know the joys of life eternal.
Also at townhall.com, Taliban releasing an American contractor who'd been held hostage in Afghanistan for more than 2 years. That story from White House correspondent Greg Clugston.
Navy veteran Mark Frericks was abducted in January 2020 after spending more than a decade in Afghanistan as a civilian contractor. President Biden called the family to share the news. The U.S. agreed to a prisoner swap, releasing a notorious drug lord member of the Taliban. In a statement, the president said winning Mark's freedom required difficult decisions, which were not taken lightly. Greg Clugston, Washington.
A Republican candidate for the Senate says there's a reason some media reports supporting the president's economic policies are, quote, out of touch with the average American. J.D. Vance of Ohio telling the Salem Radio Network, many movers and shakers in the legacy media are far removed from day-to-day lives of many Americans. He says many in the media also enjoy very high salaries. More on these stories at townhall.com.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless with zero gravity. All of your worries and stress melt away. Your mind stops racing and you fall into a profound state of pure relaxation. This is available to you right now at Tallulah Delta 8 Plus Floating in Railroad Square for just $50. These state-of-the-art floating pods are unlike anything else you've ever experienced. And while you're there, you can shop for some of the latest and greatest CBD and Delta 8 products on the market. Natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep are all at your fingertips at Tallulah. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you and thank me later. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Think about being able to watch everybody else get after one another, and we're already in firing season, Tom. We got firings. Well, hey, who guessed it first? I don't know. Probably everybody, right? Arizona State's made a change.
Hey, we got to be thankful for that, man. If it's not for Herm Edwards being dysfunctional, Johnny Wilson's not here.
I know. I like that Herm took the job and never learned the NCAA rules. It's just like,
Why are we the Devils?
So it's just, we kind of first guessed that Herm would do poorly, and that has happened, and he's been dismissed. Nebraska fired their defensive coordinator, and I'm like, man, they improved every year on defense under him and Scott Frost until this year. So I don't know. Maybe it's not him, but they don't get it. They don't get stops.
No, well,
they don't get stops.
That you know what that's about. If they've improved every single year, and yet the first chance they get to fire him, that tells you about the behind the scenes.
Well,
they're looking for a reason.
Well, Mickey Joseph he's attempting to get the job, and you want to talk about getting screwed. Hey, you're the interim coach. Let's get ready for Oklahoma. Wait a minute. You couldn't have left Scott in place for one more week to take this ass beating, and then I'll take over?
Hell, make it 2, right? Because then you get to October, and it's cheaper for you. That's what's on the line this weekend, by the way, sir. We win this ball game with whoever the hell's rolling out there against BC. You're going to make it out of September undefeated.
Oh, my God.
The next weekend is October 1st. You could make it through September without a loss.
Oh, buddy. Well, it's already our first 3-0 start since 2015.
We were very different people when we were talking about that on a Monday.
It's just silly how, how quickly time goes by, first of all, but secondly, just how bad we've been. But Florida State does win, obviously led the show with the celebrations of Friday night's victory. And for all the reasons that I think everybody was excited about. I mean, you want to win, and that in and of itself is a reason to be excited. You did. But the way they fought through a lot of adversity and got the win, and a lot of kids that hadn't had or hadn't been relied upon to have those moments where they had to be dependable, they had to make plays. To see those kids do that in that environment is important. And so it's very important to think now that you might have a legitimate backup quarterback that can play and win you games if need be. If he has to spell Jordan Travis for this weekend, for example, you can win with him. You weren't sure prior to the second half on Friday night that you could. I mean, he had given you no evidence that he could execute the simplest of things.
Correct. But I'm not retiring the question just yet.
Well,
because preparing all week, if you're going to be the starter, is a very different animal than being thrown into the fire.
It's also a lot easier. It's a lot easier.
If you put pressure on yourself, maybe not, though.
Well, I think that you'll rep whatever it is he's comfortable with. They're going to cater the game plan to him is the point, and this gets a lot easier for him at that point.
Well, you know me. I love the Rodemaker. I've wanted the Rodemaker to exist.
He finally showed us that he could be.
And he was born on Friday night. But look, you got to prove consistency, too. Just one game does not a quarterback make. And so there is another challenge this week if he is, in fact, going to be the quarterback. We'll find out as the week goes along. But that's also a big deal because now you're in front of your home fans. There's extra pressures here. Can you flush that? Can you flush those pressures? Because if he can and he performs well again this week, then the question is retired.
Don't you think if it's 50-50, there's no cause to roll Jordan Travis out there? Meaning you
might dress him but not play him.
Right. I'm saying if he could go and this was for the ability to make the college football playoff or win the ACC or something, and you said to the young man, all right, can you give it a go? This is the game. This is the one we have to have. This is, if we shoot you up, can you play? Yeah, I can play. It's a pain tolerance thing. I'll give it a go. Okay, but that's not this game. It's BC. They've looked terrible in every game because they can't block right now. You just found out Tate can do more than you thought, certainly, and you have other ways to win this football game. Yeah, man, I'm sitting Jordan Travis if it's close. If I'm told by the doctors, hey, give him another week and he'll be fine. He just needs to rest this. Let's let the swelling go down. We'll get it worked out. He'll go to therapy. He'll work it out. Yeah, man, I'm not starting this week unless he's great, unless he feels fine. We'll see. I mean, obviously
that tweet was great to see yesterday.
It was. I mean, he
not
did.
to overuse the word great, but that's what he put in the tweet.
I mean, we're running the ball very effectively right now. went through the game metrics here afterwards, and
the sack adjusted yards per carry was over 6.
yeah, it's very impressive.
Which was the scout that we thought we'd be able to run the football, but because Jordan started 11 for 11 in the game, we didn't call a lot of runs. And upon further review of Jordan's time, there weren't a whole lot of runs that he turned down.
Right, correct. He called his own number a lot, which was fine.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is they're not a whole lot of RPOs where he's throwing the ball. There's a lot of just drop back throws. I think that the staff might have.
Well, they schemed those first two. I mean, they knew exactly
Correct.
how to expose Louisville.
But from there, my question is, well, the first play's beautiful because that's a hard thing to defend. It's like a goal line concept where you got a tight end to block and, next thing you know, he's running behind you.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if maybe the coaching staff saw, oh, my God, this is so open for business. For drives 3, 4, and 5, let's just drop back and throw the ball. There wasn't a whole lot of run action there or choices for Jordan to make. There was just a lot of get you some in the drop back game, and he started 11 for 11.
You know what's crazy, Tom? Our success rate in the the first quarter was 63%. I mean, that's rather silly. In the second quarter, it was 18%. We all know why. But in the second half, the third quarter were 44%, and in the fourth quarter were 41%. Both those percentages are better than Louisville's in the second half. And obviously, Louisville scored 10 total points in the second half.
That's the weird part for the defense. We haven't even really broken that down yet. But
yeah, they weren't great, but they weren't as bad as the fan base thinks.
I didn't think the first quarter was that bad upon looking at it a second time. In the moment, you're thinking, Adam, again, we've got a bye week, and you've got years to stew over the fact that these guys own you. And really, there weren't a whole lot of coverage busts. Malik made a ton of plays in that first quarter. Like just ones where you shake your head and you go, oh my God, you're going to throw that back shoulder fade? Oh man, you're going to make these two guys miss in the hole, even though they're there and the responsibility is being.
He does do that. He can do that.
And I'm so glad that this 2-game sequence with nightmares of quarterbacks who can scramble in the open field is over.
Yeah, and we won both of them. And this next guy can't at all. So there you go. You know where he's going to be located this week. Now, the problem is, though, we don't know if we're going to have Verse. He really is your only consistent pass rusher now that wins on the edge. Okay, that consistently wins on the edge. And I don't know if Fabian's back. You really, to get to where we want to go, those two guys have got to get back healthy and be playmakers. And they both are. When they're in, they're great. We're just a different defense. It's an understatement. Everybody knows this, but we're just a different defense when Fabian Lovett is in the game.
Right.
He changes the dynamic of the game. You're not open for business between the tackles to run the ball when Fabian Lovett's in the game. You can be when he's not. And we got gashed in the second half several times.
And you're shorthanded at corner. They knew before the season started that corner was enough of a concern that they dipped into the portal after camp started to go get Malik Feaster from Jacksonville State. And they had talked about that at the luncheon before camp. They talked about that in the offseason. If you're dialed into Michael's coverage, hey, guys, they might use the final spot on a defensive back. They probably want another corner. So they knew something was coming here at this position. When Omarion doesn't play, you feel that too. And Tatum was out for a good stretch in the first half. I mean, at each level, you have been affected.
Well, I mean, the injuries are the story of the young season besides the gut check victories. They've had to win gut check victories because A, they're not a great team, so they're not going to overwhelm a bunch of people. And B, they've had all this adversity with injury. They've had to overcome and get these wins. And this is why you celebrate the culture flip. I mean, it's complete now. You obviously see how hard and together they play. The complete and total buy-in into what the head coach has espoused from the get-go. It is, I think, safe to say that has taken hold. I mean, there's no getting around that now. We always wondered about that. But no, man, they're fine. They got to figure out kicker. We talked about it last hour. I don't want to belabor the point. I feel bad for the young man, but I mean, listen, you got to be brutally honest when you're assessing your team. He can't make anything right now. He doesn't look like he can make anything right now. In fact, it's all over. It's written all over his face how broken he is. And I know Mike keeps saying, hey, he's my kicker. Great. Well, publicly fine. Say whatever you want because you don't want to, send him further down that hole of despair. But
right. Maybe he'll come back.
Maybe. But he wasn't really good before he lost his confidence. So let's not lose sight of that either. It's not like he was some All-American that's just lost it for a moment. I mean, I get it. If, you're watching, again, my golf analogies, but if you're watching a golf tournament and Rory McIlroy has a bad driving day, it's safe to assume he'll get it back. I mean, he's been really good at doing that for a long time. Fitzgerald's been average to below average since he's arrived, and now he's terrible. So there's no evidence that he's going to just suddenly find it.
And then the other thing that I think that's more serious even than the defensive issues is that you now have basically no strikes left at tackle.
Okay,
you lost your 2 starting tackles. I mean, let's see how long Robert Scott is out. I hope the news is good, but that one looked rough. That one looked rough at live speed on Friday night. And Bless is done for the year, or at least a long period of time,
Certainly
whatever
seems
Mike
like
said.
Yeah.
His arm's in a sling. That's not. I mean, you kind of need your arm if you're playing tackle.
Yeah, no. I don't think he's coming back. We had nothing but guards playing tackle, so I do feel like the pieces that you keep moving around. You can put whoever out. I don't think Scott was great anyhow. I don't want him to be hurt.
Right.
I hope he's okay. We're better with him than without him.
But
I don't think that it's a massive drop off if you put Washington out there.
No, it's not. But the problem is now he's your backup center and he's your swingman. If somebody else goes down,
correct.
And now who's next? Let's say you lose another tackle.
Knock on wood that you don't.
Well, only if Mike's luck changes. If it stays the same, I mean, now you got to choose between Lloyd Willis and Julian Armella. Somebody who's not physically ready, I don't think, down for down. Armella could maybe rotate.
No, but you don't want Armella to have to start playing now when you have NC State and Clemson still to come. That's not
precisely.
No, that's not
precisely.
No, Armella this time next year as the starter will be a much better player than Scott is.
Yeah.
Period.
I agree.
But
I can't wait for them to run counter with Armella. Oh my God, he's going to get there before he should.
Yeah.
They're like, you got to slow down, son.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's great. We can dare to dream. And I would go heavy again with the offensive line. I mean, it's unbelievable what you got to do to try to fortify the ranks. It's a brutal game. It's especially brutal in the trenches. They did well to go out and get the guys they did so that they could withstand some of these losses. Now, it also, the underrated aspect, or the one that's not talked about nearly as much, of going out and getting transfer portal guys to come in and play for you, and many of them have been hurt, is that you give another year for the other guys to develop and to lift and to get stronger. Seems half our line over the last several years, even when playing hurt and in need of off-season surgery, they never get to take the next step forward because they're rehabbing all the time. And so when you bide time by bringing in, Turnantine and guys like that, then great. You can let Armella lift and get stronger and get better and learn and not have to start right away. So it is aggravating. The injury luck for Florida State has been awful to start the season. You'd like to think it's going to even out and that Florida State's going to go through several weeks without having guys go down. But who knows? I mean, it is arbitrary. You don't know. And I said at the beginning of the show that it's so frustrating that you do irrational things. You lash out at Louisville. You lash out at the field. You lash out at football. You lash out at the strength and conditioning coach. You lash out at the nutritional. I mean, you're just wondering why can't we keep people healthy?
I did that in the postgame show. Initially, I was like, yeah, it is the field. And then about 10 seconds later, I said, no,
it's not the field.
It's not the field. But, I mean, that's the thing, man. It is now, because under the radar, too, it's not exactly like your left guard's playing well of late.
Well,
Gibbons is having a rough go, and
he looks hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know that he is, but he's
either.
tiptoeing around like a child at times, and that's not who he is. That's why
he's nasty.
He can be mean, but he doesn't look mean right now. He several times in this game looked timid, and I don't know where that came from.
And Schrader didn't dress. I mean, God, sir.
I know.
I'm glad it's BC week. This is a good time to play BC. It doesn't mean that crazy stuff can't happen. Look around college football last 2 weeks.
Could be a lot closer.
It could be.
Could be a lot closer.
100% it could be. You throw a couple early picks, short fields,
Hey. Speaking this into being, what the hell's wrong with you?
Got to manage against the worst case scenario.
Our roll here, man.
Travis J and a quarterback.
I do love that the second any position group suffers an injury, people jokingly these days, maybe Travis J can play right guard. Can Travis J kick for us?
Can he play tackle?
Can he kick? Has Travis J ever kicked? He's a good athlete. He might be able to kick. Yeah. Orange Theory Fitness will keep you sane. It'll get you in better shape. You'll have more energy day to day, and that matters to all of us. We're all extremely busy. We all want to have more energy and be there for the people that depend on us, whether that's work or family or friends, whatever it might be. I would suggest you go give it a try. Orange Theory Fitness, there's 2 locations in Tallahassee. There's one in Midtown, There's one on the north side. And that first workout is always free. So if you're uncertain and you don't know if it's your cup of tea, I get that, man. Every workout program can be a little intimidating when you first start it. But that's why that first one's free. You'll go in there, you'll learn about how they operate, how it's science-backed, why it works, and how you interact with coaches and that heart rate monitor. It's awesome. So it's worth your time. I'd go check it out if you're looking for a new program. Maybe yours has gotten stale. You want to see something new. Orange Theory Fitness, OrangeTheoryFitness.com to learn more. Jeffrey Johnson, bravo, sir. My goodness gracious. We here on the JCS aren't used to that. That's a beautiful thing.
Holy Jesus. What the is that?
Yeah, that's a reason to celebrate is what that is. Thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate you. Our efforts are emboldened by folks like yourself.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Jeff Cameron, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
In the workforce, their goal is to climb the company ladder. Often the climb requires a move to another city, and that's especially true in our industry. I'm Jay of Paul's Termite and Pest Control. If you rise the ranks of our competitors, there's a good chance moving up means moving away. Why? Because they're not local companies. They're from places like Orlando, Atlanta, Salt Lake City, and even Europe. That's certainly not the case with our employees. We're a company that was founded in the Big Bend and remains locally owned. When Paul's Termite and Pest Control employees advance, they remain in the Tallahassee area. Don't trust the safety of your family and pets from disease-carrying pests or the structure of your biggest investment from termites to people who may be here today and gone tomorrow. Trust Paul's Termite and Pest Control, a company that has serviced thousands of our neighbors right here for over 50 years. Being local really does matter in our industry because local problems require local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control are the Big Bend's local experts for the elimination of termites or any other pest, and a greener lawn too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
This is Dr. James Ryan Finn at Finn Chiropractic. Wanted to let you guys know chiropractic doesn't just get rid of back pain, neck pain, and headaches. It can help with sleep. It can help with digestion. Maybe you have pain down your arm. But chiropractic is one of the safest, most natural, most effective ways to get to the root cause of your problem. So if your loved one are having a problem, even if you think we might not be able to help, make a new patient appointment today at FinnChiro.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com. Because your chiropractor loves you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. I can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas.
Does Margarita know?
Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service, right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mndlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Cameron Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness, 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
To project the remaining games. We get into this habit, all of us do, by looking ahead. I'd really like to enjoy these wins while I can. But the injuries do affect what you think is possible. But again, right now, there's a whole lot of mystery surrounding some of these injuries. Not all of them. Obviously, Bless Harris is gone for the year. You know his status. You know Caden Lyles is gone for the year. You know his status. But everybody else that's been hurt, there's sort of a, well, I don't know. He could be back this week, could be back in 3 weeks. Don't know. And even Fabian Lovett, you just don't know. Do you get him back this week, next week, week after?
Amarian, Deuce Spann. What the hell was that? I didn't expect that either.
Well, do we know?
I don't know.
Well, it's really problematic because he's good. And I think he has a chance to continue to really grow.
Right, yeah. Spoiler alert, here's what I'll do is if he makes a catch in practice tomorrow, make sure it's in the practice observations. There you go.
Thank you. Yeah. I'd like that. I hope he makes a catch. I'll be looking for your practice observations tomorrow. Because it is frustrating not to be.
If he doesn't, he runs around and say, Deuce Spann ran a great route on a play.
Yeah,
they didn't find him, but he ran a great route.
It's important. Because you see this offense play to play. I like this offense. I really do.
But you look at the guys that they're rolling out there. I mean, Preston Daniels scores a touchdown, but he's out there for a ton more plays.
Yeah, too many plays. Yes, he is. He's out there.
Darian Williamson in the end around instead of Deuce, and Darian's going to be, I think, a decent player.
But not that play. That's not. Mm-hmm.
They had Lawrence Toafili split out wide as a
did.
Receiver with a running back in the backfield, which was interesting.
That's how good a hands he has. They're like
that.
Absolutely.
That catch he makes actually is one of Jordan's worst throws over the middle. It's behind him. That's a great adjustment on the ball.
Well, and think what they haven't done so far. They really haven't gotten a lot to Micah Pittman on the year so far. He has not made that big a difference at all.
No, and there's one throw to Johnny. It's a deep post, well, a mid-level post that it's mirrored. Pittman is also running one, and Jordan sees Johnny first for the throw. It might be a third down play. Pittman might score, but Johnny's going to get you an explosive play, and he was definitely the read earlier. So Pittman is open at times. It's just not happening for him yet.
Well, if you think about it, we've watched Pokey Wilson have himself a great game. We've now seen Johnny Wilson have a huge game. Hell, even Malik McClain makes the catch in the back of the end zone.
That's important for him.
It's important. I wish we could find any consistency out of him at all. But like you're talking about, we're seeing different guys. We just, how much better is this offense if all of a sudden you're talking about in a week or two, let's say by the time you play NC State, because maybe they're not all back by Wake or whatever, but maybe by the time you play NC State, isn't that the order, right? It's BC.
Oh, that's correct.
It's BC, Wake, and then NC State. So if by the time you play NC State, you have obviously a healthy Jordan Travis, a healthy Deuce Spann, a healthy Winston Wright to go along with what we're talking about with Johnny Wilson's emergence and Pokey, and all of a sudden that you're looking at a weapons-laden receiving core. Like, they're not elite. Well, Johnny may end up being, but they're better than average. And all of a sudden, and with Jordan's growth that he's shown, you've got a formidable situation developing because you run the ball well.
If you can block it up for him now.
Just this offensive line has got to stay some semblance of healthy.
Which stinks on a lot of levels, but in a way, because of what we're losing and what we've lost already with the two starters. Well, Caden, I don't know if he was going to be.
I don't think Caden was going to start.
Probably not.
We had hoped he would, but he would have provided some depth. Yes.
Yeah, they did fix it. They fixed it.
Yeah,
and now they're having to wear it. It's like a penalty for fixing it or something.
Well, I would do it again. Oh,
you got to. No choice.
People would be so tired about Warchant.com's repeated updates on the transfer offensive lineman.
Bring it back for that one.
That's the fifth one we've brought in this offseason. What gives? Yeah.
Did you watch this season?
They all get hurt. What do you want me to do? Every one of them. built of paper mache. I don't know what to tell you. Everybody gets hurt in that line. So frustrating. You want to bring Ira in now? You want to hold on to it? Yeah, we bring him in now. I don't want to make the man wait. But yeah, you just see that you have to throw so many numbers at it. The good news for Florida State is that they've proven themselves in the transfer portal with the selections that they've made, the guys they've brought in. It's been a win-win. It's been a symbiotic relationship, to say the least, right? I mean, Florida State has won because of the guys they've brought in, or they've improved that segment group time and again. And then secondarily, those players have enhanced their position, including one who went on to the first round of the draft. So as you continue to win, your options should continue to open up. And you just, obviously, you have to throw numbers when we talk about the offensive and defensive lines at the problem. Ira Shafel, when we come back, bringing him in just a moment, as we're wont to do on a Monday. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Florida Department of Law Enforcement issued Sunday a missing child alert for a 2-year-old boy of Monticello in Jefferson County. Kyson Washington was last seen in the area of the 1400 block of East Clark Avenue in Monticello Saturday, wearing a black t-shirt and a diaper. Washington may be in the company of Carly Solju, along with an unknown black male and traveling in a vehicle. The make and model of the vehicle is unknown at this time. FDLA requests anyone with information about the whereabouts of any of the individuals contact the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office by calling 850-997-2523 or dial 911. One person died in a motorcycle accident on I-10 in Gadsden County. A motorcycle that was driven by a 60-year-old male of Cold Spring, Minnesota, was traveling west on I-10 at mile marker 184. For an unknown reason, the motorcycle left the roadway and collided with several trees. The driver of the motorcycle was ejected and pronounced dead at the scene. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MaclemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly clear this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 89. Northeasterly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 70 tonight. Clear skies and quiet. Sunny skies and calm tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 92. Low 90s Wednesday. Warmer on Thursday with highs in the mid-90s. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 89.
Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 3 p.m. Don't miss your chance to shake the 93.3 money tree and see what falls out. Planted by the law offices of Basic Brooks. Come back stronger with Basic Brooks.
Choose Hearth and Patio for custom fireplaces, maintenance, outdoor grills, kitchens, fire pits, lighting, and so much more. Check out all of Hearth and Patio's options online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
There's a TikTok that's going viral because of a butter softening method. They are putting the Vermont Creamery butter in the waistband of her pants. Give it 5 minutes. You can go and measure out your ingredients, and then your butter is ready to go. You cannot do this in Florida.
No.
Because your pants will be full of butter in 2 minutes. Somebody try it. Post on TikTok.
Unless it says juicy across the back.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Chappelle, before we do, I want to tell everybody really quickly tonight in the Coop, 7:30.
7:30, right?
Robert
here.
Cooper.
Warchant TV.
That's right. Tonight at 7:30, Warchant TV. You're going to want to watch Big Coop off of yet another win. These are fun shows to do when you win, right? It's not, you can just yuck it up, have a good time, and he's entertaining. So that's tonight at 7:30. Let's bring in Ira Chaffel, warchant.com. Hello, Ira. How are you, brother?
Yeah, man. Poor Devontae Love Taylor last year had to wear it on the Sunday night shows.
You're like, Devontae, not only did we lose, you've played terrible all year long due to injury. Your thoughts? That's a tough show to do. Hey, Ira, on that note, so I did a Sunday show yesterday, this college football wrap that we're going to be doing. And my first guest was the poor bastard from Nebraska, whose show I've got to host tonight. I got a text. I got a text yesterday evening, right after dinner, from Husker Online, the owner out there, Sean, and he's like, "Are we still doing Monday Husker wrap tomorrow?" And I knew why he sent the text. I'm like, "Yep, be there with bells on, Sean."
Well, now you're big time 3-0 guy. You can look down at these people. But listen, I don't feel too bad for Sean because he's about to have a coaching search, and he'll make plenty of money off of that. I can tell you that.
Well, he's got a coaching search, and that's all they're going to talk about, and that's all I'm going to be the greatest expert in the state of Florida on Nebraska football. I already know the candidates. I'm already talking to guys that are like boosters over there. I'm like, why am I having conversations with these people in Lincoln like I'm one of them? It's great. It's hilarious. Anyhow, Ira, they're 3-0, and this was one of the most enjoyable wins in the Mike Norvell era. The only one that I think I enjoyed maybe more was the win over Miami last year. Here, the improbable win and the way that happened will always, remain with me. But this was a win that was a culture win, a locker room win, a team win, a buy-in win, a toughness win, all of it. It was how much fun is that to watch, and what a reward it is for those kids, and in particular for Tate Rodemaker.
Yeah, man. And, I think from a coaching standpoint, you're in this great place now where you set this foundation. And so you can get a win like that, but you can also point to all the things that have to get better. And so that's a great thing. I mean, that's, I think if you're Mike Norvell and his staff, and I think you could kind of hear it from the coaches today at the press conferences, that now it's, okay, you guys have proven that. Now let's go get cleaned up and let's get better at executing and better at playing this game. And it's just you're in that process. It's just a great place to be because all the other stuff doesn't really matter if you don't have that. And the fact that you do have guys that not only are willing to step up for each other, are willing to care about each other and play hard for each other, but when they are pushed into action, actually having some confidence to go do something. Again, man, these are all steps that we haven't seen around here in a long time.
It is, and it's something to get excited about because, we certainly believed that it would happen, that he would get this buy-in, but then you want that proof of concept. We say it all the time, and to see it play out is amazing. Now, I do have to ask you this. Let's talk about the injuries and what we know and don't know. I don't know how much we can say. Obviously, we're all very careful about not breaking those rules. Has there been any word on the myriad players that are hurt for Florida State?
Well, I mean, really, the big thing on the policy with injuries is, if things happen at practice, we're not supposed to, because we're out there at practice, at their invitation, they don't have to let us watch practice, that we can't write about things. But obviously, millions of people were watching that football game, so they saw guys get hurt. Mm-hmm. I was one of them. Jared Verse is one of them. There's 3 or 4 others as well. And sounds like, Mike Norvell today said that they got encouraging news as they did evaluations over the weekend. He didn't give specific timetables on any of that. But, again, I think, and Gene, I think, posted something on the message boards, what he's hearing. But basically, it's, a lot of these things, maybe a week or 2 or 3 weeks, somewhere in that ballpark. We don't know specifically exactly, but it doesn't sound like anything was season ending, which would be great news if that's the case.
What did Coach Fuller have to say about the slow start on defense, and what was his thought of their overall performance?
Sounded like the biggest thing he was frustrated with was tackling. He thought they really didn't tackle as well as they would have. He was pleased, especially in the second half, like I think all FSU fans were, with the way they made some one-on-one plays and down the stretch. I think that was the biggest positive takeaway, is you had, either whether it's guys making tackles in space or on critical situations, or it's the pass breakups by Shaheem Brown and Akeem Dent, different guys who stepped up. And so those one-on-one plays, I think, was a big positive to him. We talked about Kalen DeLoach, and who obviously made some nice plays, but also had some issues with angles and things like that with dealing with Malik Cunningham. But I also think, I heard you guys mention in the last segment or earlier in this hour that, defense is going to be probably a lot more fun to play when you're not playing a guy like Malik Cunningham.
Oh, I'm tired of watching all these guys run around crazy. It's nuts.
It's a taste of what people get when they face a guy like Jordan Travis. But I think the open field stuff concerned him, and there's a lot of little things to clean up. But overall, I think his biggest thing he was positive about was the fact they made plays down the stretch when they had to, and he thinks that's going to give them confidence down the stretch as opposed to the LSU game where it looked like they lacked confidence late in the game.
I'm going to ask your opinion now. I gave mine. We know what Mike said, but I'm wondering, how long do you think, how many more chances do we give Fitzgerald here? I mean, I get it. Mike is a believer in his players. It paid off in the form of Tate Rodemaker and many others. But that is a kid whose confidence is clearly shot, and he's missing point-blank field goals. I don't know if they would want to go to the backup, but you can't do worse at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I get the impression that I'm taking him at his word. I mean, I don't think that they're looking to make a change right now. I think their whole intent is trying to help Ryan through this. And the reality is, he's the best physical kicker that they have. I mean, they don't have anybody that can kick as far and as accurately under normal circumstances than him. So that's what they want to try to fix. What you do, I mean, if it costs you a game or something like that, then yeah, maybe you have to throw in chips. But I think they're going to try to help him through it. To me, I went back and watched some of those kicks, and they think that there's some technical thing. Maybe I'm just projecting just from what I would be going through emotionally, just from a pressure situation. It seems like, he's trying to aim it. It's like, and then one of the kicks, it looked like maybe he tried to not do that, and the one he pushed where maybe he just tried to I'm not going to aim it, so I'm just going to kick it as far as I can, and then he ended up pushing it. So I just think it's trying to figure that out. But I think they're going to stick with him for a while. I really do, and I don't think it's just lip service. I think they're going to see if they can weather the storm with him.
Yeah, on the one hand, you understand that if the guy's the physically more talented of the players that you have, that you'd rather fix that than start anew. But at the other hand, man, if you're playing a lot of close games and they figure to play a lot of close games, you just can't be steady missing field goals like he is right now. It'll be interesting to watch that play out, that competition play out in practice as well. Ira, always appreciate it, brother. Be well.
Thanks, Jeff. See you, man.
All right, take care. RSFL, Warchant.com. Tomorrow we'll get together with him and Corey, and we'll do Seminole headlines. Look forward to it. And, it's hard to watch guys miss kicks. It changes the math. Everything about the game changes. Now you're on their 37 and you're thinking, well, everything's 4-down territory. I can't run a play that sets me up for a better opportunity at a field goal here. I gotta run a play knowing that this is a play as a precursor to a 4th-down play I'm going to run because I'm going to go for it because this kid can't make a damn thing.
Right. Like in that situation, let's just say that you come to the conclusion, if you're Mike Norvell, that we did before it happened, you'd say you're better off just throwing a jump ball to Johnny in the end zone on 4th and 5. Worst case is a touchback. So you gain 15 yards of field position.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's the hard part here. And we don't forecast that Florida State's going to be playing in a lot of runaway games where we're winning by 10 and 14 points.
That's the thing that's kind of amazing to think about now. You've missed all these field goals and you haven't been great on special teams.
Yep.
And you've played 2 of your 3 games into the last seconds of the game within a score and you've won. Sigh of relief, but
right.
That won't be.
And that's the other thing about some of the situational management of goal-to-go play calling. And do you go 4-down territory here or 3-down territory? Do you go for it on 4th down, period? Things like that. Those aren't critical conversations yet because we're looking for incremental growth, and Florida State is satisfying our need for incremental growth. But if you want to take the step after that, these decisions are critical. So it's important to document them as we go here. Because they won't be isolated incidents if they cost you a game when there's more on the line, like a 10-win season or an Atlantic. The divisions are going away. A chance to play in the ACC championship game or a chance for a New Year's Six bowl game. All of these things we have to document as we go along and say, Mike, are we going to be up for it down the stretch in the 4th quarter? Not just on the kicker, but on you.
Well, think about this too, man. I've watched, and I know you have too. Now, I don't think we can block them, but I didn't think we could block them last year, and we were in it with a chance to win it with the lead under 6 minutes to play. Clemson doesn't look good, man. when I watch Clemson's offense in particular, it's not good. Now, their defense is, we're not going to block them. That's going to be a problem. But Atkins has found a way to scheme around that. We have found ways with angles.
Oh, we're used to that the last
trickery.
couple of years. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we couldn't block them before. But their offense is hard to watch right now. They're lost. They don't know what they are on offense. That's not an automatic loss.
Yeah.
You're talking,
Given that it's here, it's going to be a rabid.
It'll be a crazy crowd. If you're healthy, and that is a big if, you can't win that game without Fabian. You can't win that game without your starters out there. But if they are, I'm not willing to concede it. I would have been likely to concede that. I mean, as a competitor, you always want to play, but you get what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to pick games on the schedule that you think, it's a loss, that would have been one. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Clemson's got some problems. It's fun to watch them struggle, just to see that they may have some culture issues, Tom.
Yeah, we could kind of smell that all the way down here.
We've been talking about it for a little while.
That stench.
That's right. Heads up, everybody. Obviously, maybe you're considering, like many others, about buying a new home. Current climate's kind of weird. We've heard everything about that, right? First, the demand's high, inventory's low. How do you get a leg up on the competition? All that other stuff. But I would suggest that if you're inquiring about said buying of a home, you got to start with my friend Shannon at Legendary Home Loans. Shannon will get you set up with complete pre-approval underwriting. That's no longer an upgrade. That's got to be a standard thing. It is for them. And if you want to get an offer on a new home pushed to the front of the line, you need TBD full underwriting approval from Legendary Home Loans. You'll shorten, even remove your finance contingency, and the sellers will know that your offer is very real, ready to go. It's tough out there. We know that, but you want to be on a winning team and a proven winning team, and that is our partner, Shannon, with Legendary Home Loans. You can give a call today, 844-FSU-LOAN, 844-FSU-LOAN, or visit FSUHomeLoans.com. That is FSUHomeLoans.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Sellers Tile does it better for business owners, contractors, designers, and homeowners. Better design ideas, better quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring, better mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions. And Sellers makes it easier with their amazing showroom and first-class professionals. Maybe it's time to get Sellers working for you on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com for better style, quality, and design. Go with Sellers in Tallahassee. Call 656-8453.
Every great construction project, whether it's a new addition or renovation, starts with a plan. At T-Spark, we are excited when our clients contact us to assist with that plan. Through our team of architects, draftsmen, engineers, we can help you with your project's planning and design, potentially saving costs in the long run. Whether you have a residential or commercial project, we look forward to working with you. Call us today or visit us at tsparkconstruction.com. License number CGC 1525336.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. So let's say you're considering buying a new home in the current climate. We've all heard that demand is high, inventory is low. So how do you get a leg up on the rest of the buyers all making offers on the same house as you? Oh, that's a toughie. But the first place I'd suggest you start is with a call to my friend Shannon at Legendary Home Loans. Shannon will set you up with a complete pre-approval underwriting. It used to be an upgrade, but nowadays it's got to be standard. You want to get your offer on a new home pushed to the front of the line, you need a TBD full underwriting approval from Legendary Home Loans. You'll shorten or even remove your financing contingency, and the sellers will know that your offer is real and ready to go. It's tough out there these days, folks, so why not have the advantage of a proven winning team in your huddle? Get pre-approval underwriting from my friend Shannon with the one and only legendary home loans. Call now, 844-FSU-LOAN, 844-FSU-LOAN, or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 2270146.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Level of football over here. They're just ridiculous. Like, you may ask yourself a couple of things at the start of every weekend. First of all, if you're Noel, obviously, what time do we play? When do we play? Where do we play? All that stuff you should know. You probably got it in the back of your mind already. But then secondly, you'd say, what time and where does App State play this weekend? Because I'm kind of going to make sure I'm tuned into that. And then you would say, well, at least as it pertains to this weekend, I know we play at 8, but I cannot miss Duke and Kansas. I mean, that is going to be a war, folks. 2 undefeated clubs getting after it this weekend in the form of Duke at Kansas. Massive September football matchup for you, folks. We'll have a bet or two. And then if I'm a Nebraska fan, this season's a wash. You know you're not going to win, but maybe 2 more games perhaps. But let Kansas win 6-7 games and then go take their coach, because Lance Leopold is a beast. He won at Buffalo. He's won everywhere he's ever been. He's 58 years old and ready to roll. He's got that team legitimately playing elite offense. Kansas is averaging 53 points a game. It's insane. Go get that guy. There are no guarantees, and Nebraska doesn't have very good players right now, but I don't think Kansas has a ton of good players. And I'd go get that guy.
So we've got a place we can go during the bye week, October the 22nd.
Kansas?
No. We could go to Kid Brewer Stadium that Wednesday night for a little Sun Belt action between...
The Fun Belt's just that.
App State, of course.
Yeah.
That's Kid Brewer. Hosting Georgia State.
Ooh.
You want to make a roadie on the bye week?
To Boone?
Yeah.
I've been to Boone many times. Many, many times. Fun little place, man. Boone's fun. It's fun to visit. People get carried away. Oh, I can live in Boone. Living in Boone, but visiting Boone is a lot of fun. I don't know, maybe, but it's a Wednesday, Tom. I got the golf show.
You can take a week off. Trey would understand. I'm going to Boone, Trey. Oh, well, if you're going to Boone.
I wouldn't mind going to Boone, but that's a Wednesday. That's tough. I know this, by the way. I'm getting more emboldened. I know we got BC this week, but I watched every second of that over that I hit on the Liberty Wake game. Their defense is ass. We're going to be all right there, buddy.
You think so? Even if we've got backup situations on offense?
I'm not writing us off. I like us.
We're just going to be able to run the ball?
Live Spectator, you can drive to Boone. It's a nice drive, actually. Well, not on the way there, but once you get there, it's nice because you drive. Man, you get in that Blue Ridge Parkway and go. It's beautiful, beautiful travels.
I watched every second of Purdue and Syracuse, and that game was
craziest fourth quarter ever.
Craziest game ever.
It was nuts. And also all the penalties. Those two teams are ridiculous.
It was a ridiculous game, but it doesn't matter. It was awesome. Just when you assume something was going to happen, it would. Because you'd guess and say, you know, it'd be the weirdest thing that could possibly happen in this moment. And then, bam, Purdue and Syracuse would give it to you. Amazing.
I wanted to say X is going to give it to you as soon as you said give it to you. D-Dell, I've been to Boone. It is pretty. Those are pretty hills, man. Pretty hills. Good times up there. All right, we got to do probables. I'm over here meandering about, not really thinking about anything other than that. Baseball's being played, Tom. It's being played. Cue it up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
I saw where our boys had a little dust-up this weekend. Didn't we? We beamed one of your guys?
Yeah.
We threw it.
No big deal.
Did we throw at him? I don't know if we threw at him.
I wasn't watching. We had football, man. The day job is calling, unfortunately. We tied the National League record yesterday with 20 Ks.
Well, it's the Pirates lineup. You can do that. O'Neal Cruz, by the way, hit a bomb. Another laser.
I wish I could have live bet that. I could predict when DeGrom is done. And I knew 2-2, he's going to throw the slider. He falls in love with the damn slider.
He left it up.
When he gets tired, why are you throwing the slider when you get tired? You do the opposite. You throw the fastball when you get tired, my man.
Delta 8 floating in the salt. Tallulah, baby. There it is if you're watching on screen. That could be you. That could be you, but you're messing around. You go float. Get you some of the CBD and the juices from my friends at Tallulah.
Old P. Simpson must be a Braves fan. They just can't let anything go. That's the little man syndrome at work right there, Preston.
Oh, my. Getting testy out here. Twins, Guardians are in the 5th. It's 4-2 Cleveland. Sonny Gray, Cal Quantrill. Mariners, Angels. Logan Gilbert. Jose Suarez. Astros, Rays. Luis Garcia, Drew Rasmussen. Cubs, Marlins. Wade Miley, Edward Cabrera. Tigers, Orioles. Tyler Alexander, Tyler Wells. Nationals, Braves. Corey Abbott, Kyle Wright. Mets, Brewers. Max Scherzer. Corbin Burns. Giants, Rockies, Jacob Junis. Chad Kuhl. D-backs, Dodgers, Merrill Kelly and Clayton Kershaw, and that is look at those that shot us out of the boat.
Have you gotten to the place where you're going to find a television to see Judge's bid for home run plateaus?
Yeah, I will. Is he at 58?
59.
59.
And he hit 2 yesterday. And his last at bat
came close.
I mean, the exit velocity was there. It was just a hard hit double. Bounced off the warning track.
Yeah, I don't have anything against Judge. I hate the Yankees, but I don't have anything against Judge. So.
It's just so cool. I'm not a Yankee guy either, but I mean, this dude is going to be, because he's not tied to roids at all. He could be the home run king.
Yeah, he could be. Yeah, he's not tied to roids, although who knows.
Agreed.
I mean,
even
I've learned
D. Gordon had
I learned my lesson. He is a mountainous man, though, just in general. He is a mountainous man. One would think that he comes by this naturally. You'd like to believe, but I've learned you can't do that because of people like D. Gordon and others. Fatty Fat for you was a steroid guy for years.
Yeah, Bartolo is not a great guy in general, but everybody loves him because he's fat.
Because he's fat and hit a home run. Well, you're talking about the off-the-field stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read all those.
He had
stories.
2 separate families at the same time. They didn't know about each other.
My man's out here running around like it's 1946.
I mean, yeah.
The pre-internet Bartolo, you could have maybe done that,
Right.
but that how many 1952 a-hole like 5 family guys were there rolling around Nowhereville, Kansas, probably living a mile within each other.
You got like a family in Albany and Macon.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. Yeah, you could disappear prior to the computer. There ain't no disappearing now. People will find you at all times.
Oh, you were being watched at all times. Once we said yes to the cell phone, that was it.
Walking around with many computers in our hand, man, it's nuts. I've lost this battle. I know I have. I know that the first thing that that you shouldn't do in the morning is check your phone, and yet it's the first thing I do.
So, correct.
Which is ridiculous. I do it, and I know it's not. I shouldn't do it.
Did you see the numbers on Spencer Strider? Got to give the Braves a little bit of love here. He's
good.
The list of pitchers who can strike out over 200 and allow fewer than 100 hits is like, it's infinitesimal, and he might do it as a rookie.
It's nuts.
200 plus Ks, fewer than 100 hits. That's crazy.
Yeah, I love when you see the anomaly in today's game because it seems more and more just because the philosophies have changed about both hitting and pitching. You don't see many of those old school type things. It's awesome when you do. It's like a guy who hits for power but doesn't strike out.
Right.
What?
Yep.
Who is this person? This is a throwback. Stan Musial. There you are. It's been a long time. There's the music. Time's up. I hope we get good news tomorrow about the injuries.
Oh, man.
Crossing my fingers. I hope.
But the over-under has 1/2 of one person that we can report on.
I know. We're not. Yeah, I know. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the day. We'll be back with you with Seminole headlines tomorrow. Don't forget, in the coop tonight at 7:30 on Warchant TV. Peace.